Hello everyone, welcome to MMA at Midnight. I'm your host, Shant Yeretzian. In this week's episode, we're going to preview UFC 222 and Bellator 195. Let's get started with UFC 222. In the main event, we have Cris Cyborg versus Yana Kunitskaya. This is going to be interesting because everyone knows Cyborg is a destroyer, and she's pretty much on another level from all the women in the division right now that are that are fighting in the UFC. So it's, everyone's going to pick Cyborg. But also, we never know with Yana Kunitskaya. That's the mystery with this fight game. You never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen, from simple mistakes, someone capitalizing it, to a certain punch or something landing, or submission, or different positioning landing because of a slip, or whatever it is. Anything can happen in the sport. So definitely don't sleep on the main event. Cyborg is going to be a lock. Maybe a lot of us haven't seen much of Kunitskaya, but just think that she's probably on that high level. She trains at Jackson Wink. She's has a lot of good training partners. So keep an eye on that fight. It should be an exciting main event. Even if Cyborg destroys her, goes through with her, Cyborg always puts on a performance. She's not a boring fighter. So either way, that fight's going to be entertaining and interesting. In the main event, co-main event, we have Frankie Edgar versus Brian Ortega. This is a fight I'm really looking forward to. Frankie Edgar, he's always game. Great wrestler, great boxing, good movement, well-rounded fighter. He's so hard to put away. Putting away Frankie Edgar is no easy task. But Brian Ortega, he's got some sick submissions. His ground game is really good. He's got good striking. His striking has really evolved and come along great in his last couple fights. I'm really looking forward to Brian Ortega, seeing if he's going to be able to pass Frank. Because if he does, this kid's going to be a star. I think he has a good chance against Max Holloway if he can beat Frankie. But this is the test. This is what's going to determine if Brian Ortega is, champ material. I believe he is, and but Frankie is known for shutting stars down. Like this, he's no easy opponent for anyone. Frankie just. Up and comers, he puts them away. Legends, he puts them away. Like it's not easy building your name off Frankie Edgar. So if Brian Ortega can do that, that's going to be amazing. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on that co-main event. We also have on the main card Sean O'Malley versus Andre Sugmentat. This should be entertaining. Both these guys are strikers. Andre Sugmentat likes to throw down. He finished Luke Sanders in his last fight. Sean O'Malley is 9-0 undefeated. He was the one that the kid that they found on the Dana White Contender Series. So you haven't seen his fight, you can check that out. And he also had his debut in the UFC, his last fight. You can check out. I'm sure they have those up on Fight Pass. Also on the main card is we have a heavyweight matchup with Stefan Struve versus Andrei Arlovski. I'm looking forward to this because it's heavyweights. Everyone likes watching heavyweights fight because there's a high chance of a knockout, someone getting finished. Arlovski, his last fight, he beat Junior Albini. It wasn't an impressive performance whatsoever, but I guess it was a win for him. He was on a 5-fight losing streak before that, so at least Arlovski got back into the win column. He switched camps for this. He left Jackson Wink and he's back in Florida and he's training at ATT now. So maybe ATT will help him out. Maybe just like he got that rebirth, that resurgence on his career at Jackson Wink when he went there, maybe this will happen to him at ATT again. So we'll see what happens. Stefan Struve, he has that win over Stipe Miocic. A lot of people would like to see him that rematch again. If he can get a win over Andrei Arlovski, he's right there at the top of the division. The heavyweight division is kind of shallow right now, so he could easily be up in that mix. He gets a win over Andre, probably another win. Since Stipe and Cormier are fighting this summer, the division's going to be a little tied up. If he can get a win over AA and then over someone else, maybe towards the end of the year or next year, he could be looking at a title shot. So keep an eye on Stefan Struve and Andrei Arlovski. Also, we have Kat Zingano returning, and she's fighting Caitlin Vieira. Caitlin Vieira is undefeated. She's a really well-rounded fighter, exciting. Definitely keep an eye on her. If she gets the win over Kat Zingano, she can be looking at getting a title shot. Kat Zingano, I'm not really sure what to expect from her. She's only fought once a year since 2011. So there isn't much, recent footage on her. Like I said, she's only fought once a year since 2011. I know she's had a lot of injuries, some tragedy in her personal life, but we haven't been able to see any consistency from her. So it's interesting to see what Kat Zingano is going to do in this fight, how she matches up with Caitlin Vieira. But Caitlin Vieira has all the momentum, the hunger. She's ready to go for it. So I would pick Caitlin Vieira if I had to make a pick on this one, but it's a close fight. Both these women are at like the top of the level, like top level fighters, their division, their skill level. So that'll be interesting. We also have in a women's fight, we have Mackenzie Dern making her UFC debut against Ashley Yoder. A lot of people know Mackenzie Dern from the jiu-jitsu world, social media she's big on. She fought in Invicta. And also, some of you might know Ashley Yoder from The Ultimate Fighter, and she's fought in the UFC before as well in Invicta. So keep an eye on that. We'll get to see if Mackenzie Dern is ready for the UFC level competition. I think this Ashley Yoder fight is actually a good matchup for her, because Ashley Yoder isn't really like a high level fighter, but she's that like mid-range fighter. So if Mackenzie Dern can get past her, it shows that she's ready to start climbing the ranks and slowly start building up her career in the UFC. Overall, UFC 222 is a good card, a lot of good fights on there. There's also some other ones on the prelims you're definitely going to want to check out. Also, this is Amazon and UFC inked a deal for this one. The UFC 222 is going to be streaming, is available to purchase on Amazon. So that's a first. Maybe that's something kind of a bit of a foreshadowing for the future. Maybe when this Fox deal is up, maybe UFC is going to be looking for their TV deal with Amazon Prime or some sort of streaming service like that. So that's interesting. I know at least I know they're probably trying to get more pay-per-view buys and trying to get more purchases of their pay-per-views no matter whatever way they can. But the pay-per-view model is pretty much dying. I think they should really cut back their pay-per-view. When they get that new TV deal, they should cut it back to about 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year and really stack those pay-per-views and make it worthwhile. And the rest of them really it'll give you a chance to put out a really better product for the new TV deal. You know, you don't have to keep like struggling to fill pay-per-view cards so you can get buys for it. You know, you'll only have like 4 or 5 pay-per-views and you can stack those, and you'll have plenty of fight cards on the TV deal that will be like stacked with high-level fighters as well. So I think that will help. It's good to see that they're getting into the something like Amazon streaming. Like I said, maybe it's something that we'll see in the future TV deal that they're working on. Let's also get into Bellator 195 preview. Bellator is on Friday. In the main event, it's Darrion Caldwell versus Leandro Higo. Darrion Caldwell is the champ. He's got 11-1 record. He beat Eduardo Dantas in his last fight to win the belt. And Leandro Higo, he's a good fighter. He was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, I believe it was season 4. So some of you might know him from there. He's a good fighter. He's aggressive, well-rounded, good jiu-jitsu, good striking. And this should be an exciting fight. These guys, you know, they're both going to bring action. So definitely tune in for the main event. And then the co-main event, we have Joe Warren returning against Joe Tiamanglo. Joe Warren is his first fight since July of last year. So we know he's getting up there in age. He's had a long fight career, and he's also had some layoffs, like stepping away from the game for a bit. And also Joe Tiamanglo is on a 2-fight losing streak, but don't let that fool you, because the 2 guys he lost to are the guys in the main event, Darrion Caldwell and Leandro Higo. So even though he lost his last 2, those guys are at the top of the division right now in Bellator. So that'll be an interesting fight. Maybe he's learned a lot from those matchups fighting that top level competition, and maybe, you know, Joe Warren slow down his older age. You know, we know he's been knocked out a few times. Maybe this is Joe Tiamanglo's time to get a win over the big name. So that'll be a good fight to watch. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing Christina Williams make her return against Emily Ducote. Christina Williams, she had that awesome win over Heather Hardy. You know, she kicked Heather Hardy in the face a bunch of times, broke her nose. She showed really good striking, and I was really impressed with her performance. And Emily Ducote, she's coming off that 5th round loss to Lima Lay McFarlane. That was a war. That was their second fight that they had together, and both their fights were wars. Emily Ducote's really tough. You know, she's well-rounded, durable. So this is going to be a big test for Christina Williams. This only being her second pro fight, this is going to be a tough test. Emily Ducote is 6-3. She's had a lot of fights. I know Christina Williams has had a kickboxing like amateur record and also amateur MMA fight, but this is going to be a tough test for her. I'm really looking forward to this fight. So definitely tune into Bellator 195. There's going to be a lot of entertaining fights, and also UFC 222. Thank you guys for joining me, and enjoy the fights this weekend. Bye.